Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I will be showing you how to make my No BS NFL Sunday cheese dip. I make this every Sunday during the NFL season and I look forward to it every Sunday more and more and more, and I'm so excited to be back making it again today, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Okay, so here is the ingredients in a nutshell that I use. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less than this, but this is the general ingredients. The main ones that I never change is, of course, the cheese, the cream cheese. This I have mild cheddar. Normally I use pepper jack, but I have mild cheddar, so that's what I'm using right now because I need to use this other half, and that's I'll get into that in a minute. But mushrooms, which I normally don't use these, but I do just as an extra treat, and it's the first one, so I will. If I have leftover mushrooms from a previous thing that I've made, I use them. If I don't, I don't. Same thing with olives. I use black olives sometimes because we have leftovers from tacos, so I put black olives in there if I have leftovers from tacos. Same thing with the taco meat. Today, on a typical day, I'll use chorizo, which I have right here. I'm going to use half one, so I'm only going to make half a block and half. I'm going to use half of almost everything that I normally use because I only am the only one that eats it. So, but yeah, I'm using chorizo here today. But if I have leftover taco meat, I'll use it and just throw some extra seasoning in there, and that'll be that. I like to use hot rotel. I mean, you can choose your own rotel. This is a whole onion right here, a whole white onion. This is 4 fresh jalapeno peppers. This is 2 serrano peppers. And this is half of a bell pepper. This happens to be an orange one. Pick your color. I normally use orange or red just to make it look better, but you can use any one that you'd like. And that pretty much is the ingredients of it. And then we'll get into the start of what I do. Okay, so we'll toggle over to, I just use a regular pan. I used to use a small crock pot for this, but the issue I'd run into with the small dip crock pot is that I would run out of space to put all my stuff in. So, and that we don't like because that makes it a hassle. But I put the chorizo in there. It's the first thing I do. Then I let that cook up. I let this cook up a little bit to get the grease and stuff to kind of cook out of it some, because that lubricates the bottom of my my pot here. And then I put my veggies and stuff in after a little grease cooks out of this, so that my veggies don't try to burn and stick to the bottom of this. So yeah, I just let this cook first for a little bit, and for the sake of time, I'll cut the video and then bring it back once this cooks up some. Okay, and we are back, and as you can see, this is started to cook a little bit, and it's got some of the greases out of there to kind of lubricate this, so you don't have to put no spray in there or anything. I just let that be the spray for me. And then I'm going to start adding in our vegetables here. And I'll start with the onion. Doesn't really matter what order, but I'll start with the onion first. And we're just gonna cook all this down before we add our cheese in, because I like for my vegetables to be cooked, because it makes them a little more tender and not just gnawing through a bunch of crunchy vegetables in your dip. But I guess you could put them in later if you prefer them to be crunchy. But I mean, I kind of like them to be soft, and they kind of get more of the flavor of the meat into them. What I didn't mention was I went ahead and cut all the stuff up, all the ingredients, obviously, that I wasn't going to subject it. It probably took me like a half hour at least to cut all this stuff up. But I figured anybody can figure out, or if you can't figure out how to dice a jalapeno or an onion, I'm sure there's YouTube videos out there to figure that out. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing to do. You just take a knife and go to town. But there's the our jalapenos. I got some in here. I kind of missed a bit, but yeah. And here's some more jalapenos. I like my dip hot. I mean, I don't know how hot this will be. Sometimes I get it hot, sometimes it's not that hot, but that's just in my opinion. I'm sure if a regular person ate it, they'd probably think it was hot. But when I make this for multiple people, I normally only put, you normally use whole block of cheese, 2 cans of Rotel. I basically double all my ingredients, but the jalapenos, I normally only put 2 jalapenos in it, no serrano peppers, just because I know other people's going to eat it. I don't want to light them on fire and them go, oh my god, that's hot, which I've heard a time or two in my lifetime. But yeah, so that's our vegetables. They're in there now. And as you can see, they will also help break that meat up some because it's going to want to be chunky. But when the water starts cooking out of these vegetables, it will help break that that binded meat apart. In my experience, it makes, like, you can go through here and like hit it with this a million times, but the liquid that cooks out of the vegetables help you bust up that binded meat because it wants to bind together naturally, you know. But yeah, so that the vegetables are in there. That's gonna cook. I'm gonna find the lid somewhere, I hope, and I normally cover it and let these vegetables cook down with this meat, and I'll get right back to it in a brief moment. Okay, and we are back here. Vegetables are cooking up nicely. They've probably softened up about as much as they need to. The meat's broken up a decent bit here, so everything's looking nice there on that end. So we're going to go ahead and start adding our other ingredients. First, I'm going to add these mushrooms. I'll probably drain some of the water off, so just in case. I don't want it to be too liquidy. I'll probably try to... I just normally get the stems and pieces if I'm going to use mushrooms, because, I mean, I really just need the pieces anyways. I don't need to, like, get the sliced, because, I mean, I'd rather them be already in pieces, because I'm just going to try to bust them up with my scooper here and get them smaller anyways. I mean, I don't want to be eating whole mushrooms in my bite of cheese here. So I just try to knock them down with this. Don't have to be nothing Emeril Lagasse style or nothing here. But we can kick it up a notch if we want to. But yeah, okay, so that's good enough of that. Then I'm going to get our can of Rotel. If you don't like stuff super hot and you don't want to use the hot Rotel, I recommend the fire roasted. It has really exceptional flavor. It just tastes fantastic. But I just like more heat than that. I'd rather have heat. So there's that. I've already taken the time while we was away to get the cheese cut up. So I normally put in the black cheese, the not the Velveeta style, but the other style. I normally put it in there first just because it's like not as easily melted. And then I follow that up with the cream cheese. I don't cut it up as much because cream cheese is hard to cut up because it's so soft. And it just makes a mess trying to cut it. But I do cut it just for the sake of trying to get it to melt a little faster. And then I just put it in there. And then with the Velveeta style cheese, I don't know what you call it, the pasteurized cheese? I think that's what it's called. Possibly. But I always put it in here. You really don't have to be this precise. I don't know. I'll do it the way most people's probably going to do it. I just kind of like putting it in there piece by piece. I don't know why. I'm just weird like that, but most people's probably going to do it like that. And then we're going to cover it up. We're going to turn it down some because I warn you, if you leave this up too high and this stuff starts melting and you forget that it's over here, the bottom of your pan will be covered in burnt cheese and it will ruin your dip because even the cheese that's not burnt will still have that burnt taste to it. So you don't want to do that. Oh, I left a piece out here. You don't want to do that, so be aware. It's better to cook it low and slow than to try to speed this up and next thing you know you have burnt cheese. So we'll just leave that on there. I got it on ours probably about 2. If I was in a hurry, I'd put it on 3, but I still got over an hour till the game kicks off. So we'll leave it like that and let this melt down, and we'll see what it looks like after that. All right, and we're back here with some finished, no BS, Sunday NFL cheese dip. First of the season. I've had cheese dip before now, but this is the first for a real NFL game. I've had preseason cheese dip, which won't hit as good as this. But yeah, that's what the finished product pretty much looks like. I mean, it gets thicker when it gets colder, but it's just really rifling hot right now. So, yeah, that's how you make it. And like I said, don't be afraid to mix up your ingredients with what you like. I put whatever the heck I got in it and try to make it as much cost effective as possible. Like I said, I use just half the block of each type of cheese. I do use the whole cream cheese just because it helps make it thick enough and be more creamy. Use half the meat, and then when I make it the next Sunday, I use my other half. So that allows me to make it, a couple times. I don't know what the stuff runs. Probably about $16 or so, maybe a little less, not counting chips. Because the chips also, run the price up a little. Here's the chips that I like to use. It's Tostitos lightly salted. I mainly use these because our dog loves to eat the chips while I'm eating the cheese dip. And he even gets them out of the bag and stuff. So I don't want him having all that salt, so I get these lightly salted ones. And they're really good. But yeah, gonna wrap it up for this cheese dip recipe of mine that I've done for a long time and experimented with, and every batch I make is different because I use less of this and more of that, just whatever I put in there, whatever I got. I don't measure anything or nothing like that. But yeah, that's how you do it. I'm about to get off here, get ready to watch the game, and go Ravens tonight. I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. I refuse. So go Ravens. And until the next time, I will catch you on the flip side.